They're excited, yeah. Yeah, they'll be over there on the special teams field for a little bit.
How excited are you for getting a good look against the – is this the best look you'll probably get the preseason for your ones in terms of seeing getting,
Well, it's just nice to not go against our own team. Yeah. There's so much familiarity there that it's time for a change, and so it's good to have the Packers come to town, a really good team that we've got a lot of respect for, and so it'll be fun for our guys to ramp it up and get a chance to compete.
How extensive have your conversations been with Matt about how things are going to run?
Extensive. We've been talking since spring, talked a lot over the last couple of days, talked a lot over the last hour, and so we're on the same page.
How's Alex doing? I know he had a little tweak on Sunday in Capital.
He's doing good. With a lot of these guys that we know what we're getting, we're just being cautious. So anytime we can get him an extra couple days, like today being one, obviously tomorrow's just a walkthrough, then he's not playing in the game on Friday. So that's really, you look at it as, okay, 4 days and then have a great chance to come back on Sunday. Lower body.
What's the plan on Friday in terms of starters like Dax, Hill, and Nick Scott? Obviously they're experienced players, but new in their roles. Yeah,
there will be a high number of starters that won't play. I won't get into the specifics yet, but and then there will be some younger guys that maybe we're really counting on that will play. That still need some of those reps, and doesn't mean that there's going to be high volume of reps, but they'll still get some work, and we think that's needed.
What's the plan on quarterback today and Friday?
So those guys will continue to split some of those reps. So I won't get into how it's all going to fall yet because it can always change, but they'll both get their opportunities.
Do you think this is the future rather than games?
No, I think if you ask each head coach, they each have a different philosophy on it. I think some guys still rely heavily on the games, which is fine. It's everyone has their own way of managing their own team. It just more so for us, we're practicing against these guys. So for us, we won't play a lot of our starters in the game, but that doesn't mean it won't change the next week. As we go into whoever we're playing next week.
Where do you come down on that? Each coach is. I mean, it seems like you put more into this than the games.
Yeah. Where do I come? I mean, I've kind of probably shown how I come out on it, over the years. But again, I'm still open to our guys getting some reps in some of these games. Just won't put it out yet, kind of what I'm feeling in those final 2 games.
One of the biggest benefits to this, being able to control the situational part of it, you may not have
many
goal line opportunities in the preseason game or whatever the situation might be, but you can control and dictate it in these things.
That's a good part of it. Even the preseason game, obviously, it's just as the game goes. So this one, we get a chance to manufacture what we need. I'll give you one example. We wanted more red zone Skelly work for our offense. And so that's what we'll do in 7-on-7 versus their defense. We'll do red zone Skelly. Talking about them, they wanted more field work for Skelly and third down. So their offense against our defense will be doing more field work and third down during that same period on different fields. So that's kind of an example of how you get a chance to use these practices to get more of the work you feel like your team needs.
From a philosophical standpoint, what do you enjoy about 7-on-7, and why do you find that so beneficial for quarterbacks and receivers?
I don't know that the benefit is really for the quarterback. The benefit is more for the guys in coverage and the receivers. They get a chance to fine-tune some of the routes against different coverage looks. You get more of those. For the quarterback, the timing is not anything near what it would be live. You don't have a rush. We don't put a clock on it. So it's just a chance to get more reps versus a defense without the rush. We do drop back really as much as any team in the league. So for us, that matters more. For a team that was under center and they more play action and naked, 7-on-7 maybe isn't as beneficial for them. So you could probably ask a lot of different coaches their philosophy on it, and you're going to get a lot of different answers. At the quarterback background, it's hard for me to ever do away with 7-on-7 because I still think there is something to be gained from that, at least from the DBs and receivers.
Zach, what do you notice about Joe Burrow's progress heading towards the season?
He's been great in the meetings, and he does his work with the trainers and with Joey Bose. So we'll just continue to progress that.
Timeline still the same as it has been, or is there an update on what you expect from him?
Well, I mean, the timeline is several weeks from when I said several weeks. So we'll let that play out.
One more follow-up. Jamar talked with us and with NFL Network. He kind of laughed it off as making said, you got to sit out until week 5. We'll be fine, as long as you're there when it matters. Do you expect him back before week 5 even?
Yeah. I mean, I said it'll be several weeks from when I said it would be several weeks.
What do you, in terms of like his work with Joey, what are kind of the benchmarks that you're wanting to see? Does he need to start running at a certain point? Does he need to start throwing? Does he need to start planning? I mean,
it's comprehensive for what the plan they have for them. Again, I don't interject what benchmarks I want to see from any of our rehab guys. They've been proven that they do an outstanding job with our guys coming off of injury. From Nat Summers, Nick Cosgray, Dan Willen, all those guys to Joey Bose and Garrett Swanson and Todd Hunt. They do an excellent job of giving these players what they need to come back on the best timeline that's best for the player, number one. And so we're on the same page with all those guys. I trust them. I do not interject, hey, let's get them running today. None of that stuff. We just make sure we're on the same page as we go out to practice, what our expectations are, what their expectations are when they're in here during walkthroughs or practices and they're not out there with us. And I feel like we've been really clean with that.
Last season, at this time, Zach, it was really important for OSI to start getting reps after what happened at the start of training camp or preseason in 2021. Do you see it as a similar situation with Tyson this year, this camp?
Tyson Anderson? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think he needs, absolutely. Tyson didn't get a chance really to get any reps the way that the whole thing shook out the course of the season. He was able to practice the last 2 weeks of the playoffs. Aside from that, he was just confined to conditioning. And, we had told him when it occurred, like, this is a mental year for you. You get a chance to sit in these meetings and picture yourself playing and ask the questions you need to ask. And next year will be the physical year for you. And so we're going to try to give him as many reps as we can to try to accelerate his growth and see how he can help us.
What have you seen so far?
I think he's gotten better every day is what I've seen, and again, we still haven't played a game yet. So there's a lot of weeks left for these guys to continue to grow. And but Tyson is it's important to him. And I know that he's really working at it.
Anything you've seen in particular from the rookies now that we're a couple weeks into camp and they're kind of getting more up to par with what you were expecting of them?
I've been really impressed, really from start to finish with these rookies. I think that there's in some instances where maybe they disappear for a day or two, and I don't think that's uncommon. But again, those are guys I'm excited to watch today in a new environment, watch on Friday in a new environment, and see if they continue to grow over the course of this camp.
How did Charlie Jones come out of Monday's practice?
Good. Charlie Jones has been in a good place, and we'll just continue to take it really period by period with him to see what we need from him.
Given how good Higgins and Chase have looked throughout camp, how excited are you for, even though without Joe throwing, for this matchup potentially with Jair today?
Yeah.
How good of a look is that going to be for them?
It's a great look. I mean, he's a great corner. It's different. We may see some different coverage styles than what we face, and so it's good opportunities. And again, we got a lot of guys that we want to look at today. And but again, I know that they've got a really good defense and really good matchups.
Speaking of corners, with Cheeto coming back, obviously you guys have been very cautious, but
Yeah.
it looks like he was at least doing jog-through stuff
Yeah.
against the receivers in the last practice.
Yep.
Given his experience, do you not feel the need to get him involved in a practice like this because it's not like he's a rookie, he's got banked reps? Like where is his expectation for participating in practice like this today?
Yeah, still just being real cautious with it. And what you've seen is, he's had a chance to do the rehab work where he knows what the drill is and what's going to happen. And now he's starting to get more in corner phase where he's started doing some things where he doesn't know what the receiver's going to do. And so we're easing him into that. That's why you're seeing him mirror some of the receivers and the routes on air to get that work in. And that'll continue to mildly ramp up over time. We're not going to rush him into team drills until we all feel like it's time to do that. But the reason for that is he's so experienced in our systems and played a lot of football for us that we feel like at the right time when he comes back, he'll be mentally ready to hit the ground running in terms of the scheme and all those types of reps.
Busy day for special teams Monday. What have you liked from Robbins so far, both punting and holding?
Yeah, I think Darren continues to give him things that he wants to see focused on for that day, and Brad has done a good job taking that in stride.
Zachy, Mike Vrabel in Tennessee kind of turned the team over to Terrell Williams for their first opener. I was curious, have you talked about doing anything, turning over responsibilities for preseason games to any of your staff, whether it's play calling or anything like that, to give them some experience?
Yeah, play calling, and we've done this for 3 years now with Brian. There's games he calls, practices he calls. So again, that's an ongoing process from game to game. Sometimes I just really feel like calling a game and want to call it. But Brian has done that. Brian will continue to do that for us this preseason. Lou's done the same thing on defense. Those guys have called quarters, halves, different than Lou. Again, it's not something we broadcast. And I won't broadcast when and how, but it's something that we continue to work on. As far as I'm happy for T getting the opportunity to do that. He's a great guy, good friend of ours. So that's cool to see. I don't have any plans on doing that from a head coaching standpoint, but I think that's a unique deal, and it's neat that he's getting that opportunity from Vrabel.
What's the biggest thing that stood out to you just about how the defense as a whole is looking in camp?
Veteran-y. They're just. I think probably the underrated portion of our defense is how smart they are. They can make adjustments at the drop of a hat because they've played together for so many years. They're all so smart. It's really frustrating as a play call and offense sometimes when you practice against the same team over and over and over, and they do such a good job in so many areas, and they're so smart. And we feel like we have the same thing on offense. We feel like we got a really smart football team, but you asked specifically about the defense, and that's what stands. Not only are they talented, and not only do they have great chemistry together, and they understand what Lou and the position coaches want from them, but they are all really smart. I mean, really, there's great players in this league that, maybe don't have both the talent and I don't know. I can't speak to anybody specifically, but I know our guys are really, really football smart.
When it's all said and done today, what is the overall goal? What do you want to see out of this practice?
See guys compete, see guys react and make some adjustments that you have to make over the course of practice. Maybe see a guy have a bad rep and how they respond the next rep. And so again, everything's not going to be perfect. This is a chance. That's why we have the preseason games that are so important for our team to be able to learn from all those in-game situations. This is essentially our fourth preseason game now that they've made that adjustment to the schedule. So this is a good day for us to learn from, and situations that come up maybe that are different than our own practices that we'll get a chance to respond to and coach up, in the meetings after practice.
Do you have a process in which you rate where your team is now 2 days before the first preseason game as to where you were 2 days before?
No, it's something I reflect on, things that we've covered, things that we need more time on in years past. I don't compare, here's where we were last year to this year. It's more just you get a chance to reflect back on things that maybe we were focusing on back then that maybe we're better at now or maybe we're worse at now. So again, it's all a very fluid process that we'll adjust from week to week going forward.
Is there anything you tweaked from last year's score against the Rams?
No. No, aside from shaving the day off, we had 2 days last year. This format is very similar. Some of the reps have changed, but the overall cover face is pretty close to the same.
You think it helps that having just 1 day might kind of, if there's any kind of.
No, who would have that thought?
How much of that was a warning, like, hey guys, let's not get out of pocket?
We talk about how we want to treat their team. It's like practicing against our own team, to treat them. It's competitive. So there's that fine line. You got professional athletes that it's important to, but at the same time, we want guys to protect each other in those moments where that's going to come up. Stay away from the quarterback. We don't want guys fighting. We don't want the storylines to be about guys getting in altercations. And so again, we'll focus on the right things today.
Your players really responded to like 2 work days, a day off kind of thing, 2 work days,
yeah.
Day off, and they practice really hard. They get a lot done in your practice sessions. Do you expect now that the way you take care of them, do you expect a big effort today?
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying a game effort, but
I'm expecting a game effort. I mean, these guys are they're ramped up and they're ready to go. And again, there's that line we don't want to go there because it is a practice, but we're not taking guys to the ground, anything like. There's no tackling.
Right.
But again, these guys, it's another team that's showing up on the field and they're ready to compete.